Hey, hey, how you doing? I didn't see you there. Hey, hey. Before we get into this Soul Sacrifice Delta review, I'm gonna ask y'all to click that like button if you like the video, if you like my review. If not, click that dislike button by all means. Let's go. So, Soul Sacrifice Delta is the what you could call an update to the original Soul Sacrifice. But if you ask me, this is a brand new game. Brand spanking new, man. Fixing just about every single, okay, not all of them, but most of the problems that the original Soul Sacrifice had. To start it off with the problems the first Soul Sacrifice had. In the original, it was really one-sided and they focused way too much on the sacrificing aspect and basically even forgot you could save stuff. For example, you had offerings which were your spells, and all the offerings had a set amount of uses in battle before they needed to be renewed. And in the mission, you used it as many times, and if it starts to run out, then you have to go renew it to get all the uses back. But they wouldn't get all the uses back at once. It may be, I'm not sure exactly how much it'd renew, but it'd renew a good amount. But the only way in the original to renew these were to sacrifice things. But the sacrificing things would renew it, and while you would save, you would get not even a portion, like not even a quarter of your health back. So basically saving was useless because there was no need to do it. You don't get any, the amount of time it takes to save something, the health you get back, it just wasn't worth it. But that isn't even the main problem that, users had with their little concept of sacrificing and renew. The main problem was that, so whenever you would sacrifice or save something, you got experience points towards your sacrifice or saving level. So say you wanted to, and they took both levels and they added up to 100, so that'd be a total level. So for example, I could be 70 save, 30 sacrificing. I could be 99 sacrificing and 1 save. And what it was sacrificing was your power, and then if you had saving, that would be defense. So if I ran 70 save, 30 sacrifice, that'd mean I was like a bulky attacker of some sort. If I went 99 sacrificing and 1 defense and 1 saving, I would just be like a straight glass cannon. I would hit, but then if you give me a bad hit back, I'm gonna die instantly. But if I did 99 save and 1 sacrifice, I would be a huge tank and I couldn't do any damage. So I wanted to be a saver. I wanted to be a tank and just heal people, be a healer and whatnot. So what I would do, I'd have to save stuff. But then while I'm going through my mission, I'm saving, I'm saving, and it's not doing anything for me. People that are sacrificing, they're getting all their stuff renewed, they're not having any problems. But then me, I'm saving, and then I keep healing people with my 1 spell, and it runs out. I'm like, wait a sec, and now I have to sacrifice things. It's like, it's just such a hassle. I'm trying to be a saver, but I have to sacrifice. You see the problem? And that's where we finally start the review. So along with that problem and many other problems that the Soul Sacrifice had, Delta fixes it. And let me explain how. So for the problem I just mentioned, they fix it by you starting off by choosing a faction. Faction being whether you're going to be part of the people that save, you're going to be a part of the people that sacrifice, and they even added a new one where it's fate. You just leave things to fate. And might I add that this new fate faction that they added, it makes the story so crazy. Like, you wouldn't believe something so small would make a story just go in huge circles, and like, it's good. It does some great things to the story. I just thought I'd point that out there. So it's crazy though. So whenever you pick your factions, let's say I picked, since I this is what I did, I picked saving. So whenever I picked saving, now whenever I save things, it renews my offerings, which is the most thing I'm going to be doing, and it's the most common thing I'm going to be doing in a mission. Whenever I sacrifice something, it makes my magic power boosted. Whenever I leave something to fate, like one of the side monsters, not the big monsters, it'll energize my body. That's what they call it. Basically, it just makes me faster, and I do all my actions and running and calling out spells and everything. Everything just becomes faster whenever I leave things to fate. There's about 3-4 big things that changed in Soul Sacrifice from the original. One, like I said, being the Fate faction, which, like I said, again, makes the story go crazy, alright? And it would actually be even cooler. Since I beat the whole first game, it took my save data, so I didn't have to beat that original story. All I did was play through the Fate stories. And so, but if I played through the whole thing, that would make this a game that you could put like 80 hours in. Okay, maybe that's too much. You could put like 50 hours in all from the story mode. The second big thing is they added this store, these stores, like this little where you can buy some certain stuff, and I'll get into that a little later. That's the second big thing that they didn't really mention it, but if you saw any type of gameplay, you would see this little store function, and we'll get into that in a little bit. The third big thing that they added is a bunch of new spells, and along with these new spells they added in spell combos. I will show you some of that in a little bit, but we're gonna cover some more stuff. And there's one more big thing that nobody, like, okay, maybe not nobody, but I had no idea they added. Alright, this is something that really surprised me, and this thing is sort of prestige mode, sort of. So it's a little confusing. I had a friend, because whenever I got the game, my friend had been playing it a lot, so he already got really far in the game. So he like basically explained it all to me. So what happens is, first off, it's a lot easier to level because of these things called rumors, which I'll explain as well. But it's a lot easier to level up now in Delta, so this prestiging isn't very crazy. All right. So what you do is you get to your max level. When you get to the max level, they call it rite of transmutation. And what happens is you reset all your levels and you get a new sigil, arm sigil, or it's a heart sigil. Doesn't even go on your arm now. It goes to your heart, and this is for the first time. It's a plus 100 for whatever spell you choose. So basically, you can specialize in a certain spell. So for example, what I did was I had my levels at 70 saving and 30 sacrificing, and then I used rite of transmutation, reset my levels, and I got a plus 100 spear magic heart sigil. So what it is now it sits in my heart and gives me plus 100 spear magic. So my spear attacks, like, it's a plus 100 not 100 attack boost, but it's just kind of like a spear boosted. So basically my spear is my strongest spell at this point. Whew. Alright, so let's break down the three big things, and I'll explain a lot further of what what's in these big three updates. So for the first one, the Fate, I basically said everything that I can say without spoiling anything. It's a new faction. They leave things to fate instead of saving or sacrificing things. So, what the main thing it does is it's for the story purposes, and adds some more gameplay mechanics. But other than that, that's about it that I'm going to talk about for Fate. That's something for you to find out when you buy the game, because I recommend it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go on to big thing number 2. Now the second big change that they added. So there's like this store part of the main menu where you can go to the store, and there's like a store for, there's two main things you need to know about. The other two I don't even know what they are about. Like, I really don't care about them. But the two main things is there's a raiment store, which is clothes store, and there's a rumor store. So for the clothes store, there is a bunch of new costumes. You can get costumes for like humans that you've played with, like Sordiara. If you guys have played even the Soul Sacrifice demo, you'll know who Sordiara is. You can get her costume by doing something specific, and you can get costumes for other sorcerers that you've like taken packs with or whatever. You can get theirs by giving them an S affinity, by basically just taking their helper or their whatever and giving them a whole bunch of offerings until their affinity goes up, and then they get really good for S rank, and whenever they're S rank they can take on higher level missions without dying easily and stuff like that. So that's why you get that, and there's other raiments that you can get that you need certain offerings to unlock, and you can get different colors and all this stuff. They added like 3 main new colors. It's like a black and blue, a pure white, and a gold, and they look really sick. So that's the one store. The other store that you actually need to, like, it's somewhat worth something, is the rumor store. So basically what rumors are, this is how I was saying it's a lot easier to level up in Soul Sacrifice Delta. So for the main rumor that I think is the most useful is the XP booster rumor. Basically what it does is it boosts your XP that whenever you save something. So say you go into a mission without any rumors and you go and save something, you only get +6 experience. So you put a small rumor that boosts your XP. A small one, it'll make it, instead of 6, it'll make it like 20 or 13 or something like that. Say you put a medium one, it'll make it like 25 or 30 or something like that. Say you put a large one, that'll make that thing like 50, plus 50 when you save it. So this plus 6 is a lower level mission. So you get to higher level missions, default it's already plus 13 experience when you save or sacrifice. So you have a small one that makes it like 25, you get a large one, it's like 60, 70, 80, 90, you know. So it's really a lot easier to level up in Delta, and I love it because then you get to use your Rite of Transmutation, you get to specialize in a certain spell, and you just beast mode. So it adds a lot more variety in your play, I guess you could say. But I really think it's cool, and it really helps the game. The third, it's not the last one, but I already explained the Rite of Transmutation, which is your quote-unquote prestiging. I already explained that, so this is the last one I need to explain. The third thing, like I said, was a bunch of new spells and combos. So there's not too much to explain here, but for the most part, what it is they have new spells. Like I said, they have the spear. Like, well, I didn't say it, but I am specializing in spear magic, so it's basically a new close combat weapon. Before they just had axes and like pitchfork and a sword, and maybe there was something else on the, yeah, and they had a giant arm. But now it's like there's a spear, there's, for whenever you use blood, there's a new type of blood. You can like use a blood spear or something like that. I'm not sure, I've never used it, but I have it. And that's like, there's just a lot of new spells. And like and the other thing I said was the combos. So for a combo is you can see it on the screen right now. You can do the what's it called, the flower mine in the ground, and then you can do the blanket, where it's just a big space of either ice, poison, fire, or I think you can do volt, I don't know, but either way it's like a blanket space. And whenever you combine those two, when you put it on top of each other, the flower plant turns, it comes like alive. You can see right now it's like shooting out fireballs, and it's really cool. Another one would be the flower mine, plus those air mines, those air tough things, and those tough things will go into the flower mine, and it'll start shooting out fireballs if you use fire element. It'll shoot out ice balls if you use ice element, and it's really cool. And the last one I'll just say is, say I put my spear and I use a movement spell. Whenever I sprint, I can like dash forward, and it really gives use to the movement spells too. So that's something that was a big change, and it was a good change. Ooh, so after all those additions, the question that I feel you guys might have, because this was my concern before buying it. Before I really waited on Delta because I really didn't know if it was gonna be better than the original. The original was really fun up until I got higher in the levels, and it just got repetitive and boring. And so I was like, dude, I'm scared to buy Delta because I don't want the same thing to happen to me. So that might be your question right now. So coming from me, who I waited on this game for a good 3-4 months after it came out in the US, and I have it now, as you can see. It does help the dullness of the combat somewhat, and I think what it is all the new content. It masks the dullness of the combat, and it just combat and it makes it just more fun. So whenever I'm going through a mission, it might be dull combat, but I'm having fun because I'm trying to get this new costume, you'd say, or I'm trying to unlock this new rumor or whatever. So it really just masks it, and it makes it sort of a more fun experience, and I think it's a must-buy for PS Vita owners. Now for a score. Given the new additions of more spells, the new fate, the amazing added-in story that really does blend with the old story, and the transmutation, given all of this, Soul Sacrifice, I would have given Soul Sacrifice a 7-ish, maybe even a 6. Soul Sacrifice Delta is gonna get a 9.5 from me. You heard it here first. 9.5 from Jammer. Thank you guys for watching the review. Don't forget to hit that like button. I'll see you guys next time. Go ahead and go buy Delta right now.